Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. You may have noticed I am full of energy this morning for some odd reason. I don't know why, but I'll share it with all of you, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. On Thursday, digital asset exchange Binance announced that its futures trading platform Binance Futures, which went live September 2019, is launching a new perpetual contract for Cardano against the USDT at 8 a.m. on the 31st of January 2020. That means Binance has officially launched Cardano Futures, if you will. According to Binance's announcement, to prevent market manipulation, Binance will implement a pricing limit of plus minus over 1% on the mark price within the first 30 minutes after trading starts. Also, it's worth keeping in mind that as with XLM to USDT perpetual contracts, which was announced last Thursday, perpetual contracts on Binance Futures are similar to trading pairs on the spot market, and they are priced and settled in the same manner. Binance Futures users will be able to choose between 1x and 75x leverage. Here are some of the main specifications for the contracts. It'll be ADA against USDT. USDT contract unit is 1 USDT. Tick size, you get the entire point. I want to say, no, I'm not shocked as far as them adding Cardano Future. Cardano's incredibly popular, regardless of what might or might not be happening with the project. There are an enormous amount of people who are into Cardano, so I'm pretty sure they've had or have been avalanched by an enormous amount of people asking them to add Cardano Futures to their platform. Here's the actual website right here. You can see ADA against USDT. And if you click, it says BTC. They have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bcash, XRP. I don't know if Binance had EOS Futures. Well, apparently they have EOS Futures. EOS Futures, Litecoin Futures, Tron Futures, Ethereum Classic Futures, Link Futures, Lumens Futures, Cardano Futures, and yeah, that is the big news for the day. This was the news that's everywhere news. You guys know how that works. The moment something happens, everyone's like, oh my gosh, and it kind of goes completely insane. That is the, yeah, Binance now has Cardano Futures on their platform. Woo! For those of you who were looking to future Cardano. Next up, in something that I think is very interesting because no one's really talking about it. In the cryptocurrency industry, at least, it's pretty widely understood that the Bitcoin halving is due to take place in May 2020. However, that might not actually be the case. Surging hash rate and recent mining difficulty adjustments means that miners will solve remaining blocks quicker than expected. Some analysts are now eyeing the end of April for the big day. Satoshi Nakamoto designed the Bitcoin network to add new blocks around every 10 minutes. However, they knew that as more miners deployed hardware on the network, that time taken to find new blocks would decrease. To ensure that more powerful hardware could not simply speed the process up, Nakamoto, I'll read more normally because my energy levels are so, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because it's Friday, which really means nothing because I work 7 days a week, but Friday always has that significance of woo, kind of party time. To ensure that more powerful hardware could not simply speed up the process, Nakamoto added automatic adjustments, making it more difficult to guess a hash when miner competition is high on the network. When the network has a small amount of computing power deployed on it, blocks are relatively easy to find. As more hashing power works the network, the difficulty increases. Miners are currently adding so much hashing power to the Bitcoin network that the difficulty adjustments are struggling to keep pace. This means new blocks of transactions join the blockchain faster than every 10 minutes. The halvings take place around every 4 years. Based on this 10-minute per block idea, more accurately, they take place around every 210,000 blocks in logic. Many halving countdowns and estimations put the date at some point in mid to late May. However, the rate at which many miners are adding new blocks has already been pushed this forward the timing. Crypto asset exchange Binance has its own countdown to the halving. It forms an estimate using on as the time of writing. Binance estimates that the halving will take place in just 93 days. And that'll be on the 3rd of May. What we've seen before, especially a couple of months ago, it had to be maybe, I think last summer for some reason, there was like a huge amount of articles that were popping up who were talking about Bitcoin's halving is less than a year away. I guess that was kind of the monumental moment where everyone could push out those kind of articles. And I think the date that we had was around May 20th or May 24th, somewhere between that area. We kept on seeing differentiating numbers. But apparently now Binance thinks it's going to happen on the 3rd. The Bitcoin hash rate hit another all-time high today. Surprise, surprise. With miners continuing to add new hardware to the network, some analysts believe the halving will actually take place even before Binance's estimate. Prominent cryptocurrency proponent Armin von Bitcoin is among them. In the following tweet, he estimates that the event will actually take place in April. Here's what he said right there. Where's the actual... oh, no, I guess that's it. Anyway. The point is, here's the actual hash rate chart. It looks ridiculous. It looks almost otherworldly. Here's nothing pretty much taking place on the network for as long as the eye can see. A huge spike. When is this? 10/6, 2018. Went down. I assume this looks around the time the entire chain fiascos and stuff were going on and people were forking themselves. And then this is where we are right now. Just some clarity. This was 2017 when the prices lost their minds, and this is now. The activity on the blockchain is out of control. One can only assume that this is only going to increase as we get closer to the halving. It is still January. We are not even a minute into February yet, and this is what has happened this year alone. So one can only assume... as of now, the way things are looking, dependent on the current moment, it looks like Bitcoin's halving will actually take place in April, which I think would set the industry ablaze, because how long have we been talking about the end of May as the time when the blah, 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 I don't want to say hit the fan. You know what I'm trying to imply, when everything would go completely insane. I wonder what this will do, especially if Binance's little clock ends up switching to the word April. If that would light a fire under many people. I mean, to be fair, if you've been paying attention to the market the last 5 weeks, something is clearly afoot because the energy is very high within the cryptocurrency space right now. Here's a chart once again. And let's move on. Next up, Heath Tarbert, U.S. Commodities Futures Trading Commission Chairman, wants the United States to lead the world in crypto assets and blockchain innovation. The cryptocurrency advocate also expects his agency to oversee Ethereum futures within 6 months to a year. In an interview with Bloomberg, Tarbert discussed the current state of the crypto asset industry from his perspective as a top financial watchdog. He said he wants the U.S. to take lead when it comes to crypto assets and blockchain and encourages innovation in the nascent technology. He says, like I just read, "I want the United States to lead in this," end quote. This echoes comments made in December where Tarbert stressed that whoever takes the lead is going to end up writing the rules of the game, which I've said since about 2 years now, when all the regulators were like, we're going to give regulations, and none of them did, but they have started doing so. Now, whoever gets to the very front of this, whoever has 0% taxes, whoever makes it easier for you to be able to buy, sell, hold crypto, and buy homes and houses and all the other happy things you want with crypto tax-free, or maybe not tax-free on purchases, but you understand what I'm saying. They're going to clearly lead. Tarbert also discussed the regulatory future of Ethereum, saying that futures for the second largest crypto are in the pipeline. Currently, or certainly, we've seen Bitcoin futures cash settled as well as physical. My guess is that we are going to see Ethereum futures as well. As reported by News BTC, Tarbert said to expect these Ethereum futures to come to market in the next 6 months to a year. Under Tarbert's leadership, the CFTC is aiming to create a regulated crypto futures market that investors will be able to rely on for better price discovery, hedging, and risk management. Here's the article that was being referred to from last year, as far as what he was talking about. And also, I tried to get the actual article from Bloomberg. It just opens up into a video. I can't play the video. Copyright laws. You know the whole deal. Anyway, we will see. This, for me, is kind of the year of it all, if you will. We've been anticipating 2020 for quite a long amount of time. A lot of people haven't been anticipating the end of 2020, as they also say that that is going to be the further catalyst to Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market moving forward and yada, yada, yada. We have still yet to see up to this point. I think the only rules and regulations that we have from the US are, I believe, the IRS has told us how to pay taxes. Woo! And what else is there? We know that Bitcoin and Ethereum are officially commodities. That is as far as we've gotten. We'll see. This was also, once again, everywhere. Whenever, and to be fair, we do have someone who's the chairman of the CFTC who is trying, or at least tells us that he is trying to move things forward, and that he is in some way an advocate for cryptocurrencies, and it appears he wants them to move forward. So I would rather, in all honesty, things take a little bit longer with someone on our side, as opposed to things being rushed through with someone who hates us. Because just imagine if he was like, yeah, we're planning on banning crypto, we're trying to get it passed through, no one likes it here, we don't really care for it, it's a total disgrace, we want to continue using paper, we like you know, that if we had that, we'd all be up in arms. However, at least the head of the, which is also a little interesting, that some of the top players in the SEC are advocating for crypto, and some of the head people in the CFTC, the chairman, are also advocating for crypto. Makes you wonder, right? Exactly what's going on behind the scenes. I wonder what these people talk about when we're not there. How many conversations they're having? Because you know, there are at least 20% of them. Someone has tipped them off to the potential future of all these prices, and they've been buying them, but we don't know who's bought them. That's kind of the craziest part, because you know they're buying them. You know that some of their financial people who tell them what to do with their money are advising them to at least add a Bitcoin to their wallet. At least this is how I envision it. I'm also a little weird. So anyway, let's move on. Next up, where are the words? There we go. The Central Bank of Cambodia will launch a blockchain-based digital currency before the end of this fiscal quarter. Che Saray, Director General of the National Bank of Cambodia, told the Phnom Penh Post earlier this week. Saray said the scheme, called Project Bakong, is the national payment gateway for Cambodia. Users of the closed system, of course, can connect a wallet to their bank accounts and convert their fiat currencies to the new digital currency. The blockchain-based currency can then be used for everyday payments. Do you understand what I'm reading? This is absolutely nuts. The blockchain-based currency could then be used for everyday payments from mobile platforms. Bakong, they said, will play a central role in bringing all players in the payment space in Cambodia under the same platform, making it easy for end users to pay each other regardless of the institution they bank with. Oh my goodness. Eventually, we hope to allow some cross-border payments through the Bakong system too. It has been trialed since July and now has the support of 11 banks, according to the National Bank official. Saray said she expects more will join soon. The Phnom Penh Commercial Bank, or the PPC Bank, already uses the system at all of its branches. The president of the bank, Chang Mu, told the Post. He said it's cheaper and more convenient than credit and debit cards. We are in the future. Oh my actual goodness. First of all, I'm not happy and giddy at the fact that they have a closed blockchain system. But what did I say 3 weeks ago? I said all the other countries that we had heard from, I said I have a feeling over the next 6 months, a lot of them are going to start coming out and raising their hands and saying, we did it, we have it, it's us. No, it's definitely us before China, because what's the name of the game? Is if a major country is going to be releasing their digital currency, you have to bring yours out before them so that you get notoriety of some sort and everyone knows that you are at the head of the pack before everyone else. Same exact thing with Libra and Facebook and all the other stuff. This is why so many other companies have been like, hey, yeah, I mean, blockchain, right? We're also going to get into it. Cambodia has officially announced they are creating their own digital currency, or have created their own digital currency, and is going to be released before the end of this quarter. That is March. I'm expecting I expect it's at least 5 to 10 countries to do so by summer. This is number one. I assume we're going to have a huge amount of them announcing all of this in the relative future. Anyway, here's the actual news article from the Phnom Penh Post. It says NBC's digital payments to go live in the next few months. That is absolutely insane. I don't remember off the top of my head at all what kind of crypto policy that Cambodia has, if any. I can't remember reading news, going through news about any type of laws that they have for crypto, if crypto is allowed. I feel like they were one of the countries who we were talking about last year, and this is like very, very rough, and I don't remember this. There were about 3 countries who came forward and said that cryptos were allowed in their country, but I think the only cryptos that were allowed, it was like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, and one other one. It was like literally 5 coins, and that was it. I don't remember if Cambodia is one of them, but I try to be optimistic and or hopeful that if they are this far ahead in the acceptance of blockchain, that hopefully they have allowed cryptocurrency exchanges within their borders, and that with those exchanges that they have allowed at least, I was going to say at least just Bitcoin, but at least 5 coins for people in their country to be able to use. How insane is that? 2020, my goodness. Let's move on. Next up, where are the words? There we go. A large Ethereum gathering in the United States next month is attracting some big names. One of the sponsors is BP. I think that's British Petroleum, if I'm not mistaken, has added its name to their list. Ethereum prices have remained bullish, cracking $180 for the first time in 10 weeks. The ETH Denver event scheduled for the 14th and 16th, or through the 16th of February, has cemented itself as one of the biggest Ethereum meetups of the year. It was formerly called a hackathon, but organizers have preferred to go with a more industry-friendly term, Bedillathon, and I hate how they spell it as well. For those of you who don't know, like the word hold, in the cryptocurrency space, people will say HODL, so it's HODL, and 2 of the letters are swapped. For some reason, last year, this wasn't a thing before, if you remember, people started saying the word build, but the L and the D were swapped, so it's now Bedillathon. The 3 days, 24-hour event offers a wide variety of activities, including talks and workshops by top crypto and blockchain influencers. All the main people from Ethereum will be there, as well as Voorhees and yada, yada, yada. The entire event is sponsor-funded, and they usually comprise of crypto exchanges, blockchain companies, and fintech firms. This year, though, a mammoth has joined the list in the form of a global energy giant, BP. Here's the tweet for BP right there. This is extremely bullish for Ethereum to be able to attract such big names to what was once a small event for geeks and coders. I say that all the time. People forget where cryptocurrency was. We weren't always a massive industry player. We weren't this thing where governments were afraid of us. We weren't this thing. If you've never seen that thing, I'm pretty sure it's Vice. Vice has a thing on YouTube where they have a video where Vitalik Buterin is like meeting Russian officials. He's sitting at the same exact table as Putin. It's like we've come a very long way. Even diehard Bitcoin maximalists have shared some rare kudos. They said, I've never been to an ETH Denver event, but you seem to be able to attract diverse sponsors. Most events would envy this impressive roster. More power to you. Don't mind the haters at all. I mean, I hate that term, because for me, it's always like 24-year-old women on Instagram screaming out like, I hate the haters. I don't know why I said that, but I hate the term haters. I think it's very childish. But in retrospect, looking at it from my view, it's completely true. Like I always say, I may not like the crypto that you have, but who cares what I have to say? Just keep making money on the side. Just do what you have to do to continue making enough money so that you can retire. That's all that really matters. The fact that Ethereum has had much hate in the past, I'm sure people still don't like it now. The Enterprise Ethereum Alliance should be enough to just shut everybody up, but it never is. If we get any news ANY, at this event that BP is going to be using Ethereum's blockchain for their transactions, for their data, for their company roster, anything, Ethereum's probably going to react very positively. It says up here, Ethereum prices are up 7%. I'll get to that as we move further along. I guess the big news is Ethereum has another conference coming up in about a good 15 days. For those of you who are, I assume this is in Denver. If it's called ETH Denver and it's not in Denver, and it's like in Hawaii or something, that'd be kind of weird. And also, BP is going to be sponsoring an Ethereum event. Do you get how insane that is? I think Microsoft also sponsors Ethereum events. Like what? How? What? Yeah. And yes, today is Brexit. For those of you who were unaware, for those of you who don't know what Brexit is, I would Google it, and I don't mean that as a joke. I had a situation where I was discussing Brexit with someone, and they told me, "What's a Brexit?" I know life is hard. I know people aren't always on the computer. I know some people without TVs and who try to avoid the internet just for the sake of their own sanity. I get it. However, this is a monumental event, dare I say, that is actually taking place today. I think the papers and everything were signed about a day or two ago. And yes, without getting into any type of politics, the entire idea has been for a while, what impact, if any, will this have on the cryptocurrency space? This is the actual separation of the United Kingdom from the European Union, a complete disconnect. Will people then become bearish on the UK pound? Will inflation then set in the United Kingdom a bit higher than its currently projected 2% rate? Will this have an effect on Bitcoin? There was it's not an article. It was a document that was leaked a couple of months ago where apparently, allegedly, people in Parliament had discussed the idea that if Brexit did happen, that there could be riots, there could be food shortages within the United Kingdom. You are in the UK, please find a Tesco immediately and just empty it out, buy as much as you can, not to cause panic. The entire point being, it has been 4 years of discussion. 4. We are finally here, and everyone's wondering what will be after everything kind of comes to fruition. The other point to kind of note is, says it right here, and I'm glad I had it. It said, Brexit, like Bitcoin's halving, it may take months for the effects to be felt. It may not happen overnight. There may not be bonfires and people purging immediately, but no one knows the future. I don't know if all of you, I was going to say if all of you have been alive, if all of you have experienced the last like 2 weeks have been an absolute SHIT show for me and all my friends. For some reason, something was in the air and things have been a bit rough and hazy. Remember the other day when I posted the video like 5 hours late and I was like, sorry, it's been a very long day. It's been a long month. I'm ready for this month to be over. We will see if something ends up happening, but it is expected. For many economists, if you've been watching any type of, I almost said math news, economy news, a lot of people have, even when the Brexit was announced that it was going to happen 4 years ago, the pound slumped heavily for a couple of weeks. And even on the news that it was officially going to happen, or rather that Boris Johnson was going to continue on his path to do so, the pound also slumped. So that was before the thing actually took place. In other ending news, if you will, a lot of the cryptocurrency market is kind of going crazy, at least at the time of me making this video. This one says Litecoin's price gains 22% as the chart's cup and handle targets $100. This one says XRP's price could soon rally by 14%. And this one says Zcash surges as crypto community votes to redistribute crypto mining rewards. This is the third thing this last 2 weeks that we've been discussing about mining rewards being reallocated across a project. Apparently, the people from Zcash have announced that they have given the thumbs up to give 20% of the mining rewards back to the developers of the project. That's huge. Charlie Lee was asking for 1%. The people from Bcash were asking for, I think Roger Ver wanted 21%, and they voted that down. That's a very strong community. When you can say, we need funding, we need help. Do you mind if we have 20% of your mining reward to... And it does make sense. I hope the proposals for Litecoin's 1% go through. I think realistically, even if you think about it this way, the people who are developing your project, you should be helping them not as much as possible. Don't give them 99%, but even a good 5%. Because why? They're going to continue developing the project that you're mining and making money from. If they disappear, the coin is probably going to completely collapse. And I don't mean that someone else can't pick it up by the heels and simply start chugging along again. A lot of these projects are around because of the names that are attached with them. People have speculated before. There was a video I made years ago. I think part of the title was Proof of Life, because there was rumors going around that Vitalik Buterin had fallen. He was gone. No longer on this planet. And Ethereum's price completely collapsed just off of the rumor. And Vitalik Buterin had to hold up a note of him showing the current hash of Ethereum saying, hey, I'm still alive. And Ethereum's price went back up. It's because these names are very closely, even though these are decentralized projects, we always will have a face. Even though we don't know who Satoshi Nakamoto is, we still have the idea of Satoshi in our head when we talk about Bitcoin. We have Vitalik, we have Brad Garlinghouse, we have Charlie Lee, the list goes on. So in many of these cases, if these people disappear from the spotlight, or if the candle is handed to someone else, no, it's the torch. The torch is handed to someone else, bam, price would completely collapse. So you should, in essence, be, in my opinion, okay with helping the people who the coin that you're mining, that you're making money from, they made the coin, and they're still helping the development of said coin. So 20% is, I don't want to use the word steep. It's a healthy number. it's a healthier number than I was expecting. The entire point is Zcash's price also went up as the community gave the thumbs up to help the community. I mean, that should be something that everyone is willing to do. Anyway, as always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Chongololo Tsongololo, Nostromo, Mr. Pickles, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Barebones Mining, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mo Hammeroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Brady Niels, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Crypto Joe, Bankroll Network, Adobo, Mill Wheezy, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Nicholas Run Earth, One Piece, One Love, Damian Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Crypto and Beer, Shipmate Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hits Chest Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes, to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, ARF Medic 17, Bake Me a Cake, and Tigara Macho Nisa. Thank you all very, very much for your support, and thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel and have clicked the little join button below. I give you digital hug. I hug the air. I look crazy to my neighbors at the moment. The cryptocurrency market, for those of you not looking at the screen, we had a bit of a surge last night. Bitcoin is currently at 9,400 right here on this little metric. About a good 12 hours ago, it looked like Bitcoin was trying to push to 10,000, and I think that scared a lot of people because once again, it is believed that when we hit 10,000, that's going to be, that's all she wrote. That's it. Everyone's going to completely lose their minds. I won't say that I won't. I have been accumulating the coins that I have accumulated before, and I'm going to continue accumulating them. However, I know if I see Bitcoin hit 10, I blink my eye and it hits 11, I'm going to FOMO very hard into the market. I can't even lie to you. Ethereum is currently up. I assume based off of the gigantic news. XRP is also up. Where is the other? Litecoin is not up by, what was it? I think 22%. I think it's because of this little slump that we had. It looks like it is trying to go back up at the moment. Yeah, everything is relatively up. Ethereum Classic's down, but that's also, I think Ethereum Classic was up by like 30% the last 2 days, so it's okay for it to go down by 3%. It's not that bad at all. Where was the other one? It was, where are you? Zcash is only up by 2% at the moment. Once again, the slump that we had overnight, I think everyone got a bit too excited because it looks like Bitcoin could be preparing for a very major move. A lot of people are saying if Bitcoin does indeed look like it's trying to push near 10,000, you know how we've had those situations where Bitcoin's floating at 8,400. We all go to sleep and wake up, it's at 8,700. Go to sleep and wake up, it's at 9,100. You know, all these like really huge movements. If Bitcoin looks like it's going to hit 10,000 and actually does hit 10,000, people are calling, this is what they're saying, calling for an altcoin season. The altcoins would also completely lose it and kind of go bonkers. And I saw people talking about that XRP would try to then hit 50 cents. Ethereum would try to hit around 3,000. I wish. Around 300, maybe 330. We'll see. If nothing else, these first 31 days, I mean, have been interesting. If nothing else, like I said, I don't know if anyone else has had a rough couple of 2 weeks. But I welcome February with open arms because it's just been a lot. I hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever the heck you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. And I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.